All right, let's just jump right in. We're about to go on a journey, but not to a place you can find on any map. We're going deep into the hidden world of the human mind, and we're going to see how exploring that world completely changed how we understand stories.
You know that feeling, right? When a character from a movie or a book just sticks with you. Or a single line of dialogue just plays on a loop in your head for years. Why does that happen? What is it that gives these stories so much power? For the longest time, the thinking was pretty straightforward. The answer had to be in the story itself. In the words, the plot, what the author was trying to say. But then one thinker came along with this totally radical idea. He basically said, nope, you're looking in the wrong place. The real secret isn't on the page. It's inside us, in a hidden room in our own minds that we don't even know is there. Now, to really get just how revolutionary this was, we got to rewind a bit, because for thousands of years, the Western world had a very clear, very neat and tidy picture of how our minds worked. This right here was the bedrock of pretty much everything. The core belief, going all the way back to philosophers like Aristotle, was that we humans are, at our core, rational creatures. We think, we reason, we make a choice, and then we act. Simple, clean, we're the captain of our own ship. And that one simple belief had huge implications. It meant that you could truly know yourself if you just thought hard enough, that your actions were the product of logical choice. It even meant that creating art was a conscious, controlled, rational act. The whole system was built on this foundation of reason and free will. And then along comes Sigmund Freud. And he doesn't just question this foundation, he takes a metaphorical sledgehammer to the whole thing. And this, right here, is the moment where our neat and tidy picture of the mind gets beautifully, wonderfully messy. So here's a crucial point. Freud didn't just invent the idea of the unconscious out of thin air. Other thinkers had hinted at it, but his game-changing contribution was to open it up to actual systematic study. He gave us a language to talk about this huge hidden part of ourselves, this place filled with drives and memories that secretly runs the whole show. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. It's a total night and day difference. On one side, you have classical man, rational, in control, transparent. On the other, you have psychoanalytic man, driven by forces he can't see, not really the master of his own house, and using a language that's slippery and full of hidden meanings. It's a complete paradigm shift. So, if we buy into this new model, that we're not purely rational beings, what does that actually mean for us? Let's dive into the core concepts that came out of this massive shift. This isn't just some abstract philosophical question. The answer changes pretty much everything we thought we knew about ourselves, our choices, and of course, our art. All of a sudden, these huge ideas that were the bedrock of Western thought are on shaky ground. Can you ever truly know yourself? Is free will just an illusion? Can an author even know what their own story is really about? According to this new way of thinking, the answers are way more complicated than we ever imagined. So the big takeaway here is this. We are not unified, transparent beings. It's almost like there's a stranger living inside each of us, our unconscious. It's a part of us, sure, but it's also this otherness that we can't fully control or even understand. And that changes the entire game.
Okay, so you might be thinking, this is cool psychology, but what does it have to do with reading books? Well, this is where it all clicks together in a really fascinating way.
See, Freud didn't just apply his theories to literature. In many ways, literature helped him form his theories. He looked at ancient myths and classic plays like Oedipus Rex and Hamlet, and he saw the drama of the unconscious played out right there on the stage. For him, these weren't just great stories. They were basically case studies of universal human conflicts, and this is literally where the famous Oedipus complex comes from.
And this insight gives birth to a whole new way of reading. A psychoanalytic critic acts like a detective of the mind. They're hunting for hidden symbols. They're analyzing a character's actions, not for their stated reasons, but for their unconscious drives. And, this is a big one, they even ask, what desire in me, the reader, does this story secretly speak to? And there's a really beautiful parallel here. A psychoanalyst listens to a patient's fragmented memories and traumas and helps weave them into a coherent story that provides understanding. A literary critic does something very similar with a text. They create a narrative, a compelling interpretation that makes sense of all the hidden patterns and meanings. In a way, they're both storytellers. Now, Freud may have started this fire, but he was by no means the end of the story.
his ideas spread like wildfire, influencing generations of thinkers who took them in totally new and unexpected directions.
You can really see the idea evolve over time. It starts with Freud's direct followers, like Otto Rank and Ernest Jones. But then thinkers like Melanie Klein begin to push back, challenging some of the core ideas. By the time you get to the late 20th century, critics like Harold Bloom are using these tools to talk about something totally different, like how poets struggle with the writers who came before them. It just shows this isn't a static idea, it's a conversation that's still happening today.
The impact is just immense. I mean, thinkers on this list took these ideas everywhere. You have Juliet Mitchell using them for feminist criticism, Herbert Marcuse for a Marxist analysis of culture, and then the incredibly complex work of Jacques Lacan, who reimagined the whole thing. It became a new language, and it seems like almost every field of modern thought learned how to speak it. So, we end with this. If the author isn't fully in control of their own creation, and if every reader brings their own unique unconscious to the story, what does that do to the idea of a single correct meaning? Perhaps the true power of a story isn't in the one answer it provides, but in the infinite hidden conversations it starts inside each and every one of us.